Good evening, guys, girls, and everybody. How are we? It's Monday night. It's the Mental Health Runner on Let's Talk Mental Health Podcast. How is everyone tonight? Are we all doing all right? As I always say, if you can, hit the share button, give me some likes, go for it from there. But most of all, if there's any questions, any comments you want to ask, pop them in the comment section. We'll have a good interaction, have a good chat, and just see how everyone is. Most important thing about this is it's about positivity. It's about sharing our stories. It's about helping one another. If you're struggling, obviously tell us. If you want to tell us something positive, tell us in the chat. But most of all, let's interact. Let's do what I'm good at, talking. All right, let's do that and see how we get on. All right, so tonight, what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, for me, I'm going to tell you what I've been up to. And then, obviously, if you want to tell me what you've been up to, even the better. All right. So, myself, the weekend had really quite a good weekend. To be honest, it's been really enjoyable. Had lots of. All right, I've got some comments. Evening, Pamela. How you doing? Fine. Good week this week, but we'll share in the future. If it's good news, yeah, it's quality. So, what did I do Saturday? I'm trying to think. I'm a bit lost with the days here because it's been a bit like Groundhog Day. Saturday. Saturday. We had a bit of a dilemma. I've got to say it's quietly, but the elf got eaten by the dog. Elf on the shelf got eaten by the dog. Some whispering ears are next door, and she doesn't know. So I've got to keep her quite quiet, right? But we have acquired another elf, and he is coming from the North Pole, and hopefully he will turn up tomorrow on a sweetie sleigh. How good is that? Right, what else have I been up to? I did cross-country training with the juniors on Sunday, and when I say it was bloody muddy, it was bloody muddy, covered in mud, but most of all, the kids got some great exercise. It was very inspiring to watch, and it was great to be part of. And the other thing, obviously, I got out in the fresh air, and it was brilliant. I also ended up running myself 3.2 miles, I think it was. And when I say it was difficult, it was bloody difficult, but good sense of achievement when I finished. And that's the thing. You know, guys, while you're all on here at the moment, I always say this to people, but if you can hit the share button to groups, share to different groups, it'll promote the platform, promote Let's Talk Mental Health Podcast, but also promote me as well, the Mental Health Runner, and just share with each other. All right, so that's the most important part. And then we can obviously do that. If you want to ask me any questions, that's brilliant. But most of all, it's about sharing and just going forward. All right, so give me a big thumbs up or a big hi in the comments, and then we'll go from there. That's brilliant. So, what have I done today? So today has been, I've done a few bits at home. We've done some, wrapping of Christmas presents and stuff like that. But I went out for a lovely walk with my wife this morning, and it was lovely. We went to a place called Nayland, or Stoke-on-Ayland. For anyone who knows Essex quite well, it's a beautiful area. It's Constable country. So if you think of the guy John Constable who painted the Hay Wain, that's the area of the land I'm living. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And we trudged through lots of mud, through lots of footpaths, went past the old golf course that I used to work at years ago as a golf pro. And it was beautiful. It was just very, very, it was nice. We just got to spend time together and walk the dog. The dog thoroughly enjoyed it. The dog was knackered afterwards. We walked 4.2 miles, which is a decent walk. And it was very, very hilly, but the scenery was amazing. And, you know, both of us noticed things, and I've become quite avid in taking pictures. As a lot of you probably know, you follow my posts, but excuse me, some of my pictures that I take now, they really do make me smile. And I would say to anybody, if you are looking at the world from a negative place, try, if you can, to look at it through a lens. Now that sounds ridiculous, but take pictures of stuff and look back at it. because honestly, it does look amazing. Some, when you look at stuff, I mean, the colours are fantastic. But that's the bit that I think makes me smile, and also the sense of appreciation, which I think a lot of us don't have a lot of the time. We don't notice how good our surroundings are around us. And I think that's so, so important. It's so important to understand that we are lucky to be living in this environment. And a lot of the time we don't feel that. We feel quite negative about it and feel, oh, life is shit. And, oh, excuse me. And that is part of the mental health side. That's where depression kicks in and stuff. And this is why I always say to people, and James will obviously back this as well, where being in the great outdoors and being outside and that sense of well-being is so, so important. And it's something that we don't do enough. So I would always say to anybody, like with me doing this active challenge and doing walks, runs, I'm doing reflexology on Wednesday night, which I'm really looking forward to with a friend of mine. She's lovely, Jules, which, again, it's mindful. It's about that mindful exercise. It's about that relaxation, and it's letting your body go to a different place and giving away some of your energy in that way. So you're not actually concentrating on negative, you're using the positive. And I think that's, hello, my yawning friend. Good evening, Neil. I know, and just because you said it, I've got another one for you. How are you, Neil? Nice to hear from you, mate. It's really nice to hear from you. You know me, mate. I'm always yawning. Can't help it. But I was talking about, obviously, how being outside and that can change your mindset. And I know how difficult it is, because it is really difficult to get out. I have days where I just don't want to do nothing. And this active challenge has really benefited me, because it's given me that reason to get my trainers on. The dog has really been a massive help as well. The dog is a real positive in my life at the moment, because if he don't get taken out by me, because my wife's working, he wouldn't probably get the same exercise he's getting at the moment. And that's really positive, because I'm helping him, but he's helping me. You're okay, to be honest. Neil, that's brilliant news, mate. It's great to see you as well. All right? Keep talking with us, mate, and keep doing your stories as well, because they're the bits we all like to see. I mean, some of your pictures, mate, I told you the other day, I love them. Some of your past stuff. That's good. I've got loads of shit like that for when I was a golfer. But again, we forget. And they are important parts of our life. Pamela, I've still not went for a walk yet, but meant to be going Thursday evening with James down into Heritage Park. Okay, Pamela, I don't know Heritage Park, but going with James. Brilliant. All right, do it, because it will help you. It might not seem like it will help you at the moment, but it will. It's just a wonderful thing to do. And being in the great outdoors with just another person, it's amazing what you talk about. Quite often say to people that if you go out with somebody on an individual basis and you go for a walk, the way you talk is a lot more open than you would do normally. You tend to talk a lot more open because of your sense of being, and I think that's a really good place to be. I was meant to go and I take it to play football with my over 50s, but couldn't be bothered. Okay, Neil. All right. Get the couldn't be bothered. Totally get it. But think when you do go and when you get back, how good you feel. And the bit of not going is normal, because we all feel like that. And obviously, like you said, you've been at home for a long time, those bits. But trust me, brother, if you can do it, it's the hardest thing in the world. It is the hardest thing in the world. But you know what's good for you and you know what works. So promise me next week or whenever it is, you go again for me. Like you went for that walk for me. Yeah, go. Because it's a positive. You do enjoy it once you're there. You just can't be bothered to get there, and you think, what's the point? That's understandable. That's the illness talking. But it works for you. So, give it a go, bud. Rain put me off. Yeah, rain does put you off. But sometimes, mate, that rain
is sometimes even more inspiring, as in more, how can you put, gives you more sense of being. It does. Some of the best things I've done lately, some of the walks and the runs and the other activities, when it's rained, it's made me feel, how can you put, more uplifted, I suppose. It's weird. It's a weird sensation. And it is, I'm the same, laugh out loud, but it cleanses us. Yeah, it does. I think it's that sense of being. I get where you come from. Rain does put you off, because if you're going out there and it's pissing down, which I know, Neil, where you are and you're near me, it is pissing down at the moment, or it has been. And yeah, it's hard to go out there in that conditions. If you're out there and it starts raining, it's a little bit different. But I have to say, again, for your mindful side, going and doing is a lot more positive. And sometimes, I've done it recently. I put stuff off, and then regretted it afterwards. So, it's about the positive, and this is where me, James, and the platforms and the other people come from. That looking at what you should do, which is, again, I talk about this a lot. Should is a shit word. It should be about talking about what you want to do, and what you can do. It's not about what you should do, because there's no should in it. You need to do what makes you happy, and that's the most important part of it. And I think when we look to the future, I think we talk about mental health, it's more to do with those sort of things. You have to look at it from a different angle. So, you have to look at it and go from what works for you instead of what could work for you. You know what's good for you. That's the thing. You know it. So you've got to go with it instead of going the opposite way. All right? Because that's the problem. When I look at me, sometimes I look at it from that point of view. I think to myself, why am I not doing this? And that is partly because I'm putting barriers in the way. Yeah? Tonight, I'm going to put pencil to paper and start drawing again. I've been 12 months since the last time. That's good. That's really good. Really therapeutic thing to do is drawing. And if you're good at it, which it sounds like you are, I think that's a really good thing to do. I did find when I was in hospital back in the day, a long time ago, I found playing Scrabble, I found listening to audio books, I found yoga, I found all of these things that were really good for me. And I think sometimes when we get into the dark states, we don't tend to do those things. And I think you need to look at yourself and sometimes look at yourself and say, look, I know this works, but let's do this. And it is the hardest thing in the world, because when you're in a depressive state, you don't want to do that. And that's part of the disease, the illness, whatever you want to call it. It's what eats you up. And sometimes we need our own kick up the arse. And I know that sounds harsh in some ways, but I'm my own worst critic. When I'm in a bad place, all I do is kick myself down. And I think that's part of who we are. We are our own worst critics. And sometimes you have to look at yourself in the mirror from somebody else's perspective. And it's really, really important, because, what you've put there, Neil, with the pen and paper, that helps you. Yeah, that helps you. But you've chosen not to do that. And that is purely because you can't be bothered. But you've actually noticed something in you today or the last few days where you've looked at it and gone, I think that could help me. And there's a reason for that. Sometimes we need a little bit of steering, we need a little bit of talking, we need a little bit of help. But, it's not always easy to go to the things that work for you. It's quite often easy to steer away. And I think that's the thing that we have to try to look at ourselves a little bit more. And I think the openness about talking is a real positive, because a lot of us tend to, I don't know, it's easy to go to what I call the dark side. It's easy to go to that, because, that's the easiest place to go, because we're naturally, how can we put, negative people. Our brains go to negative quite easily. While I'm thinking about it, if you can, click the share button for me, share to groups, also like and follow our pages. I'm Sean, the Mental Health Runner, and obviously this is Let's Talk Mental Health Podcast. So if you can, hit the share buttons and also like the pages. It's brilliant because it's about supporting one another. Also, any questions, any comments, pop below. I'm always looking to hear from different people, and also just if you want to say hi, and I'll give you a shout out. So it's about connecting. All right. So let's connect with each other and have a chat. All right. If there's anything you want to ask, you're more than welcome to do so as well. But going back to the things that work for us, you know, me, if I look at me, my active challenge is really something that I know active keeps me sort of sane in a way. It really does. It gives me that sense of being, the sense of purpose. Obviously, life is tough. We're not having a job, but I'm doing the best I can. I'm working on my stuff, what I want to do with my mental health runner going forward. I'm looking at doing some shirts and stuff like that, and I'm looking into podcasts as well myself to do. I've got a couple of people lined up to do chats with, but again, it's just moving it the right way. And I understand how important this is to me now because I do enjoy doing the chats. I enjoy the interaction with different groups and obviously with different people. And I think I've got a story, you've got a story. And if we can connect and we can do that, it can really help one another. And it's something that a lot of us don't actually see a lot of the time. Now, it took me 6 weeks to move my lamp to the drawing table. Plus, I finally sorted out my art boxes. Now, I'm so impressed with my small steps of conquering little things. That's good. That's brilliant. Little things are what build massive things. And that's the thing that you have to think about. It's not about all of these massive changes. Little things always seem big to us. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the quite common thing I hear from people is they're afraid to speak out because they think their problem's not big enough. It's not a game of top trumps, guys. It's about how it makes you feel. And sometimes doing little things can change them things, you know, and it can be as simple and really is as simple as tidying a room or cutting the grass or making the bed or moving a lamp and things like that. Something that you've been meaning to do for ages. It can switch you over into a different mindset. And they're things that people don't understand with mental health, that they look at it and they go, well, why is that a massive problem? You know, you moving a lamp to somebody who's like, well, what a bloody hell has he not moved it? But that's not the case. It's because you're not ready to do that. You don't feel like you can do that. And it's like your art boxes. You just think, I'll leave them over there because it don't matter. I'm not going to bother drawing. It doesn't matter. But it's not about that. It's how it's affecting you. And you know how doing those little things is building blocks of life. It's building blocks of moving forward. And they're the things that I think we need to try and make people understand that, you know, it's not about that you're being idle or you're not doing anything. It's because physically you're not ready to do that and you can't do that. It affects us all in different ways. And, you know, I always say to people, like, if you look at someone who says, I can't get out of bed, that is actually a lot mentally, more than anything. It's not a physical thing, it's a mental thing because you're being blocked from doing it. And it's hard. You know, when we talk about things people do, you know, it does seem strange, but it's because it's not you. Mind you, I ain't plugged it in yet. Yeah, that's good. Look, do me a favour, plug it in, and if it don't work, change the bulb, all right? Do that in one go, all right? If it don't work, after that, I can answer you, all right? So, just see how it goes. Yeah, baby steps. Yeah, but you're halfway there, Neil. You got it over there. Let's turn it on, all right? We'll do a big switch on, like the old Christmas light switch on. Yeah, it'll be just like a Blackpool illuminations, mate. What do you reckon? I reckon that could be quality. But you know, it's like me with all of these things. You know, I talk about these things, and when I'm talking like this, I have light bulb moments, not like your lamp, but I have things that trigger in my head, and I think, yeah, that's right. That's what I should be doing. Because sometimes we all need a kick up the arse, and that sounds, again, it's difficult, but we do. But that's what it's about a lot of the time. People don't actually understand that. People go, well, hang on a minute. Why can't he or she just go and do this? Why can't they do that? Why can't... It's not understanding. Anticlimax. What do you mean it's anticlimax, mate? I bet it was awesome. I bet it was. I reckon it knocked me dead with the old Christmas tree lights, mate. I reckon it'd be just, fantastic. Just imagine, mate, it's like that big switch on when you're doing your old bits on stage. I reckon that's what it's like. But again, what you're talking about there, to most people would seem silly. It would, because it's how it seems. But it's a lack of understanding. That's what it is. Yeah, it's a lack of people's awareness of other people's things, and it's about people judging. It's about people not getting it and not understanding it. And us talking about these things is great because it makes people realise A, they ain't alone, people who are struggling, but B, it allows people to actually look at it and go, well, hang on, I get that as well. I do understand that. And people who don't understand that allows them to listen to why it makes you feel this way, or makes you do this, or make you do that. And that's part of the bigger picture. And I think, we're doing these talks, doing these interactions with people, and allowing you guys out there to have a voice. It does help us all, and I think that's something that needs to be recognised. And just going forward, just to be non-judgmental for people, because I think the world we're living in at the moment is tough as it is. But judging people is not going to help people. It just makes you worse, and that's why you have to keep with positivity groups, keep with those right things, because it can really help instead of going with the negative. It's like I saw something the other day about people arguing with people online, and there's obviously trolls out there that want to do that and want to create friction and want to cause problems. But the best way to deal with that is to not interact with that. So if you get somebody who's negative and puts a comment on, instead of actually looking at it and picking holes in it or even looking for a fault in it, get rid of it. It's not worth your hassle and your mental health to wind you up. But the trouble is, when we are in a mad mental state, we look for those things. So it might not even be negative, but when we're not in the best frame of mind, we look for the negative in it. And that's part of the problem. And this is where I think social media can be quite bad. As much as it's good, it can be really negative as well. And I think we need to look to make it a good place for everybody so they can interact and feel positive instead of being afraid of it. Because I know lots of people who speak to me, they always say they tend to steer away from Twitter. And I have to say, Twitter can be a very aggressive place in people's points of view, because people tend to, if they don't agree with you, they can be quite point blank rude, and that can be really difficult. And that's the thing you have to look at. So it's about looking what's good for you and not good for you, and also steering away from those things. My plan is to go back on stage again, putting a ska and reggae duo together with a friend. So I do have big goals, also the little ones that sometimes get the better of me, but I will win. Mate, I am well looking forward to that. If you get that sorted, I will definitely come and see you. All right, I promise you. All right, I would love to see that. That sounds like an awesome thing. I've seen some of your stuff you've done, and obviously your radio bits and bits. I mean, it's great. So, do it for us. All right, and then share it with us. All right, because that's what we want to see. All right, now I'm going to wrap up because I've got a few things to do this evening, and I need to get on. But it's been fabulous as normal, having a good old chat with you lot tonight. It's been wonderful. As I always say, I didn't show you earlier, I've got my Christmas mug out tonight. How good's that? I've got things to do, I've got all the kids and stuff to do, so I'm going to get on with that. But, as I always say, keep liking, keep sharing. Let's Talk Mental Health podcast. Obviously follow them as well. Also myself, Sean the Mental Health Runner, and really just support one another. We are here for you, and as you are for us. So, it's a group mentality. It's not about anything else. It's about supporting each other doing what's right for each other. And as you know, James puts on his thing, it's lifting the stigma, and that's what it's about. It's about making it a safe place. All right. So thank you everybody for watching. All right, tonight, and it's been wonderful. And I will catch you all next Monday. All right, and make sure you follow, because I think James has got 2 wonderful podcasts going on tomorrow as well. All right, so check those out as well. All right, love to you all. See you next week.